This week, we're likely going to be seeing the reveal of the upcoming Monster Hunter Wilds expansion. This is the week of Summer Game Fest, and there are three main events that I'm going to be focusing my coverage on. We're going to be streaming the PlayStation State of Play, which is actually going to be happening later today. We're going to be streaming the main flagship event, the Summer Game Fest, which is going to be happening on Friday. Then we're going to be streaming the Xbox event, which is going to be happening on Sunday. There are a lot of other smaller events happening at the same time as well throughout the week, and I'm going to be trying to take notes, check out trailers, see as much of it as I possibly can, and then we're likely going to be doing a live stream summarizing all of the things that I thought were interesting. But I definitely believe in one of the big three. Either it's going to be the PlayStation one or the Summer Game Fest one. I don't think it's going to be happening at the Xbox one simply because of previous marketing efforts that Capcom has done with Monster Hunter Wilds, but I believe that in the next two shows that I'm going to be covering, we will likely see the reveal of the Monster Hunter Wilds expansion. And I figured that this would be a good time for me to tell you guys in my community what were your three most requested features for a Monster Hunter Wilds expansion. If you guys remember a while back, I did a post in my community tab, and if you guys didn't receive that, you might want to check to see if you are subscribed to the channel, and if you're not, you might want to consider that because it helps out and you get notified whenever I make a new video, all of that good stuff. There's going to be tons of Monster Hunter coverage, I'm sure, because we're about to receive a multitude of Monster Hunter news. At least that is what I would expect. And also, if you enjoyed this video, do hit the like button because it helps us out immensely. But as I was saying, I did a post in my community where I asked you guys what was the features that you would be most interested in a Monster Hunter Wilds expansion. And I received a lot of things, and I want to focus mostly on the top three. But to give you guys an idea, strangely enough, a lot of people actually said that they wanted more siege quests. And I say strangely enough because I almost seem to feel like the community sentiment is actually that a lot of people don't care for the siege fights, but it was definitely something that was mentioned multiple times. A lot of people want new weapons. I don't think that is going to be happening because usually if you were getting a new weapon, that would be something that would be featured in the base game. Not sure if it makes sense for them to add it in an expansion to a game, but hey, I'm open to the possibility. Who knows? A lot of you guys want more herds as well. You want like more pack monsters like we had with Doshaguma, and I do feel like the herd mechanic was definitely underexplored, so that's something that they could do. A lot of you want to see tracking make a comeback. Unfortunately, I don't think that's happening because, again, that would be like a core feature of a base game title that could then be improved upon in an expansion. But, you know, several of you guys also asked for less walk and talk segments. But, I mean, that was something that we already knew was going to be a thing. As in, I already knew that a lot of you guys were going to be asking for it because that was one of the biggest complaints that I remember seeing in the early days of Monster Hunter Wilds. This one actually kind of surprised me because I knew that this thing was popular. I did not know it was this popular. A lot of you guys want the rainbow pigment to make a comeback, which for those of you that are new to Monster Hunter, this is something that we have in a lot of the older Monster Hunter titles. Usually as a reward to complete all of the quests in the game. When you complete all the quests in the game, you get a rainbow pigment. This is a pigment that you can apply to your armor, and it just cycles through the different colors that you have in the game. And, you know, it's a rainbow pigment. A lot of you guys also asked for weapon pigments, kind of like what we got in Rampage. The Rampage weapons in Monster Hunter Rise, those had like pigments that you could color weapons and whatnot, which I think is interesting, but at the same time, you can kind of like make a weapon look like it's from a monster that's not in the game. And I don't know how Capcom feels about that. That might be one of the reasons why we don't have them. Then we're arriving on like the top 5, and this one's like one of the most requested ones, and it's less RNG, which is interesting because I also did a poll a while back where I asked you guys if you wanted Ardian weapons to remain being kind of like the best performing weapons in the game. And the results were pretty much overwhelmingly negative. No, you guys do not want Ardian weapons to remain the way that they are. A lot of you guys have expressed the desire to go back to the weapons tree, which is something that I'm personally kind of relieved because that's also what I like. I prefer doing the weapons tree, and then we can kind of like augment those weapons later in the game's life and all of that stuff, and they can just keep adding more augments and whatnot, but kind of like keep the weapon tree relevant because I feel like that's where we get some of the best possible content. Then there was actually a lot of people asking for deviant monsters. which I think that probably a lot of you guys don't even know what deviant monsters are unless you've played Generations Ultimate on the Switch. But basically, these are kind of like a different version of monsters. You can almost see them as like the variants or the, you know, those monsters that you see that are kind of, oh, they're a little bit different from the regular version of monsters and whatnot. But like, deviants are very, very different. They're like hyper aggressive. They're just, you know, they're just quite unique. And I'm like, listen, I'm all for deviants. Bring on the deviants from GU. Do not bring the deviant ticket system, because holy Jesus. Like, I'm good with having quests to upgrade, but like the deviant tickets was just an absolute nightmare if you wanted to play it with friends, because you'd want to like, everybody would be going through the system, which would mean that like, okay, so for every step of the quest, we have to go in there, kill the deviant 4 times. It's like, okay, that's a bit much. There was a lot of grinding there. But now we finally get to the all-important top 3 requests that you guys have made for the Monster Hunter Wilds expansion. And these are in order. So coming in 3rd place, Switch skills from Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak, which is not surprising if you really think about it. Switch skills is something that I'm pretty sure was universally loved by the community. As a matter of fact, we kind of embraced that feature so much that I feel like a majority of us just expected this to become a standard in future titles. Like, switch skills is just such an obvious win for the game. For those of you that do not know what switch skills are, because maybe you never really played Rise or Sunbreak, it is a system where you can basically get different movesets for your weapons that can actually change the playstyle that you have. So it's been a hot minute since I've played Rise and Sunbreak, so the example that I'm going to be giving you is going to be like regular reload, which was quick reload in Rise and Sunbreak, and guard reload. So this was something that enabled you to either have your quick reload, which is like, you know, you do your shelling, you do your slam, your burst, and then you have your quick reload, and then you repeat that combo loop, right? Slam, burst, quick reload, slam, burst, quick reload, and, you know, repeat. Then with guard reload, that actually did something different. So for starters, it also reloaded your worm stake, which quick reload doesn't do in Rise and Sunbreak. So it reloaded your worm stake, but on top of it, whenever you reloaded, it also went into a guard. And I know that quick reload in Wilds also has a guard, but that's not the way that things work in previous monsters, unless you're talking about Valor style GU, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But, you know, guard reload allowed you to do a different playstyle, which is something that I actually really liked, which I could do shell, reload, shell, reload, because you'd be blocking and you could get really up in the monster's face with a wide shelling gun lance, just go like shell, reload. And it's just really cool because it provided you with different playstyles. Now, I know that for a lot of weapons, switch skills was kind of like something where people just went, well, actually, this skill is like 10% more powerful than the other one. But I still liked having the choice. But even more than just having the choice, one of the things that I really appreciated was your moveset basically evolving as you went through the story. I thought that was a really cool feature of Monster Hunter Rise, probably one of my favorite features of Monster Hunter Rise, actually seeing my weapon's moveset change as the game advanced. It was actually pretty bad for tutorials, because it meant that I couldn't just like, oh, I'm in the game, let me just, you know, look up these weapons, figure out how I can teach people how to better use the weapons, etc., etc. It's like, no, I actually have to go through, do a bunch of quests, unlock all of this stuff, and then study the different, you know, movements and all of that stuff. But to be honest, I don't even care. I just think it was really, really good for players, and to me, that's the thing that matters the most as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, switch skills coming in at number 3. I think I almost want to put it higher because there's one thing on the top 3 that I really don't care that much about. But a lot of you guys definitely do, but it is what it is. But yeah, switch skills, it would be great to see them make a return. And strangely enough, I do think that this could be something that they could add in an expansion. I think it could actually work. So, you know, I'll be happy to see it being added. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe even tonight, who knows, at the State of Play. Maybe we'll get to see some more details about that. We don't actually know. But then, coming in at number 2, an endgame system similar to the Guiding Lance. I'm not surprised. The Guiding Lands was a magical moment for me because, you know, you finish the story of World and Iceborne, and basically your character's like flying in on a wyvern drake, and you just get to a completely new map, and you're just like, whoa, it's just a brand new map. And then the map has like specific mechanics of stuff that can happen in there. And you're leveling up the different regions of the map to get different materials, and that's actually how we unlocked a lot of monsters in the endgame. That was probably one of the best, if not the best, endgame system we've ever had in a Monster Hunter game. I really, really liked it, and not only that, but it also kind of encouraged you to play with friends, because it was kind of hard to max out every single region because you could only have so many points. So you would max out 2 regions, then you would have to like lower the points on those regions and max out some other regions. I know that people were using something to like level up all of the regions very, very slowly. That didn't seem fun at all. But the way that I did it was I just got one of my friends. Okay, so you level up this region, this other region, and then another friend, you level up this other region, this other region. I'll level up these 2 regions. And between the 3 of us, we had every region available to us whenever we actually needed them, which is very, very good so that we could farm materials. But not only that, it also kind of like brings the community together, because you would, at least in my Discord server, people would like get together. Well, I need this specific region. Anybody's got this region leveled up, and people would like get together in games and do some hunts and made sure that everybody had the stuff that they needed. So I really, really enjoyed the Guiding Lands leveling system since the beginning. And I know that a lot of people didn't like it in the beginning because it was, you know, it was a little bit more hardcore, but then they made it a little bit more lenient, a little bit easier to level up, and yada, yada, yada. But I liked it. I think Guiding Lands was absolutely phenomenal, and I can completely understand that a lot of people want an endgame system similar to Guiding Lands because it was quite simply the best. As a matter of fact, I might expand on this as to how a Guiding Lands system could potentially work in Monster Hunter Wilds. Because due to the fact that the way that they've made the map in Monster Hunter Wilds, it actually lends itself very, very well to a Guiding Lands style endgame. But moving on to what was, without a shadow of a doubt, the most requested feature by all of you, and this is the one that I don't agree with that much, at least I kind of feel like it shouldn't be this high on the list. You guys want your own room, specifically where you can put your endemic life, the same way that we had in World and in Iceborne. I think more specifically Iceborne, where you had like that, I don't know, some people probably preferred the palace that you had in World, but me personally, I was never a big fan of the palace. I was like, okay, this is a little bit too lofty for my character, because I always feel I'm a hunter, you know, I'm here to hunt monsters. I'm not like some magistrate politician of the guild that requires like this palace structure with palicos playing the harpy, and you know, I'm like, this is too much luxury for me. I always stayed down in the one with the aquarium on it. I always thought that one was really cozy, and I preferred that specific room for my hunter. But you know, the one in Iceborne was pretty cool. You had like this house. It's a fairly large home, but you have a lot of space to put all your animals in. You have like a little sauna thing going on, but it felt a little bit less luxury than the palace. So I was like, yeah, this one looks good. But yeah, I'm still kind of surprised that the most requested feature is like a home room where you can kind of like put your endemic life and you can do decorations and all of that stuff. That was very surprising for me. But what did you guys think about the list? Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you excited for a potential reveal for the Monster Hunter Wilds expansion? Do let me know about that. And hopefully join in on the streams that we're going to be doing throughout the week. And I'll see you guys there. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.